Okay. What's up? Let me see if I can get this spread it around real quick. Yeah, this is a new podcast that I've come up with called the Listen Up Podcast. And just gonna be me expressing myself about what's going on today and everything. As far as game wise, comic books and stuff like that, never know, Um shit. Right now I'm about to play Gran Turismo Sport and talk about I'm gonna try to predict the release windows for Sony's next 5 big titles that's gonna come out this year. Or some people say some games might not come out this year. But I have 5 games that I think that are guaranteed to come out 2018 for the PlayStation 4. Um, I just shared the group to the Hard Nut Gamers. Let me see if I can get some Twitter followers real quick. Let's see. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna make this a long podcast, neither. About 20, 30 minutes the most. Um, yeah, about 20, 30 minutes the most with some gameplay in the background. I really don't want to consider this as a podcast, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. We'll go ahead and do some more of the mission challenges today. I haven't been able to game in a while because my job it consists of me of bouncing around from 2 different sites and everything, and I am a supervisor, so I have to like maintain control, micromanage stuff, and it's just hectic. But the past few months I've been MIE, because you can normally catch me on the platform podcast on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Very diverse group of guys and female. Terry, Cool Cat Terry, she's pretty cool. Shout out to her. Shout out to Big Mike. Shout out to Preston. All the guys there. Shout out to Leon. Achilles. Um, I was planning on making my return to the platform this weekend, and I still might do the show. I don't know. I probably have something going on at night, and so I do apologize for not being on the platform, but I shall return soon. I might even just do the show while I'm at work next week, and because I got it like that, I can do that. But I also want to give more shout outs to Porter Rock 77, Craig Harris, OBJ the Don, just about everybody that interacts with me on Twitter, JVB, Golf Rat, the guys from the post game report. Those guys are pretty cool. They will interact with you on Twitter. You just Twitter, to me, I treat Twitter as the place I go to just talk about video games. I try not to get involved with the politics of the day-to-day living, especially in America, but sometimes it spills over into my hobby, which is on Twitter, and that's gaming. Shout out to Slick Humor TV. I enjoy your videos and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And this is kind of like what he's doing too, you know, but he doesn't have any gameplay in the background, anything like that. Shout out to the Titanfall Princess. I'm just really going down the list of my Twitter followers and the people I follow. Shout out to Kratos JW City 16. Shout out to Supersonic Iron Wolf, if I'm right. You know, yeah, Supersonic Wolf 1. My fault. Pretty good. He cool dude. He good peoples. You know. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. First of all, okay, we all know that Sony has 5 major titles this year coming out, and I don't care if anybody dislikes it. People are gonna hate anyway. But of course, we know the Shadow of the Colossus remaster or remake is gonna drop in February, right? I'm thinking Sony is gonna do the same thing like they did last year when they dropped exclusives. What up, Eugene? This is Gran Turismo Sport. I think they're gonna, you know what I'm saying, take over the beginning of the year, which is, you know, February, March, April, May, June, and they have the titles to do it, because if you look at it, and I mentioned this on Twitter earlier today, if you look at it, you know, you got Spider-Man coming out, you have God of War, and I think God of War is going to release very soon, very, very soon. You also got Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, and also you have Shadow of Colossus. Now, I do predict that I think God of War will release in March. It's always been released in March. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, knows this. It's some kind of, I think the 10-year anniversary is coming up for it, if I'm right. And it's, you know what I'm saying, I mean, I'll get into detail a little bit later on about God of War, but I really do think it's going to be coming out in March, because I mean, Shadow of the Colossus coming out in February, which, you know what I'm saying, that's already been set in stone. That's going to get everybody, you know what I'm saying, ready, you know what I'm saying, for what's coming. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I mean, yeah, Sony remastered Shadow of Colossus last gen, and you know, we played it, people liked it. You know, I played a little bit of it, but at that time and point, you know what I'm saying, I really couldn't get into gaming like I really wanted to, like I used to, because of work and everything. But then you have March coming up, which I think with March, that's going to kick it off with God of War, just like they did with the E3, when they kicked off the E3 and they had the God of War being shown first. I think we're going to kick off the year with God of War, because that's going to be, you know what I'm saying, a new IP, well, not new IP, but a new, you know what I'm saying, major title that's not remastered. It's reimagined. It's a sequel, to be honest with you. Just reimagined, I guess you want to say, because I think it's just been reworked. You know what I'm saying? God of War, it's allowed, you know what I'm saying, developers are allowed to change the face of a game, you know. They are allowed to change anything up with the game. Just like Hollywood is allowed to change up plots and stories and characters from the comic book universe. Frozen Magma, what's up? To be honest, if all those games come out, Sony will only have 3 games for 2019. Yeah, that's true, but also, you know, then they basically short. Nah, you gotta think about it. Sony's always looking for new IPs to bring out, you know, and for 2019, you gotta think about it. A lot of people are predicting the PlayStation 5 to be announced in 2019 and possibly released in 2020. Then again, it could possibly release at the end of 2019. So if they release, those games, those 5 games, which we know Shadow of the Colossus will be released next month. God of War, Days Gone, Dreams, God of War, Detroit. Yeah, those right there are 2019 games. Spider-Man. I really think Spider-Man is going to be releasing side by side with the Avengers Infinity War. The Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, those are going to be 2019. I just got a strong feeling. I can't guarantee it because I'm not in the industry, but I have a strong feeling those are 2019. We will be hearing something from Kojima sometime this year about Death Stranding. A big surprise because they've been playing the game actually, and that's the kind of news I like to hear when they say they're playing the game. I heard Spider-Man was already finished. Games take time. That's why I think most of their studios are going to take a long time. That's true. But you also got to think of this: how long these games have been in production. Because I know one E3. I want to think it was E3 2014. When they announced that the God of War 3 remaster was coming, a lot of people was asking Cory Barlog about a new God of War game. Was it being worked on? And this is 2014, and he was trying to keep as quiet as he can about it, but he just said, yeah, we are working on a new God of War. So that was 2014, jumped to 2018. We say, they probably started in 2013, and and everything, as far as like plot lines and design and everything. That's 5 years, and you got to also think about what Mark Cerny said in 2013, that they designed the PlayStation 4 to be easy to work on for so you can have games to come out a lot faster than normal. Quick time events heavy. Yeah, but you don't have to do the quick time events. You can actually I can't say skip through them, but you can do it yourself. Yeah, next to the Avengers, I think. See, a lot of people sit back and say that Spider-Man coming out in May when Avengers come out, and that's going to be the release window. That's supposed to be the release window for Red Dead Redemption 2. I honestly feel Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to get delayed because this is Rockstar we're talking about, and we know how long it takes for them to work on a game. Plus, you also got to look at the fact that those games, they really need more time to work on. They've been working on Grand Theft Auto Online for so long. Red Dead Redemption 2 will slaughter anything. That's why Sony has to release the release window for Spider-Man 2 has to be just right. If Red Dead Redemption 2 is releasing the same week as Marvel as the Avengers, then that'll mess up that prediction, But I do have a strong feeling that Red Dead Redemption 2 will get delayed. Red Dead Redemption Online. Oh yeah. Of course, they're not going to have that ready on day one. The online will not be ready on day one. If anybody thinks that Red Dead Redemption 2 online be ready day one, they're going to be fooling themselves. Because Rockstar, to be honest with you, will they separate the online from the actual, campaign? Because they haven't mentioned anything about Red Dead Redemption 2 online. Of course, I haven't seen anything mentioned about it. Titanfall Princess. What do you think of God of War? What I think of God of War, I think it's going to be a great game because I like when developers choose to go in a different direction and stuff. I love Heavenly Sword, and God of War looks like the gameplay to me look like it's going in that direction, but with more gameplay features in it. Like Heavenly Sword, you only use your sword and you dodge and you block. Whereas, God of War, you're going to be punching, you're going to be slamming, you're going to be ripping people, you're going to be doing everything Kratos normally does besides double jump. I didn't have a problem not jumping in Heavenly Sword. That was, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't even pay attention to that. And so, you know, God of War, it doesn't matter to me. As long as the game has my attention and as long as it's fun. To keep it real, the Bayonetta or Devil May Cry had no jump button or most of the game you're on a shit 30%. The game will be a I really think that he was being sarcastic when he said you're going to be on the boat for 30% of the game. But also they said the game is going to be anywhere between 30 to 50 hours if I'm correct. So you got to look at the fact that 30% of that you'll probably be traveling. Like, okay, how long were you on the boat for The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, right? How long was you on the boat in that game? I would say you was probably on the boat for 30% of that game because you had to travel from island to island to island if I'm correct. Look how long you was on the boat for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You had to travel from island to island to island, location to location on the boat. Plus you had missions on the boat when you had to fight naval ships and stuff like that. So a lot of people are actually probably taking it out of context. They're not really thinking. We've already played games that you were on the boat for 30% of the game. Some, you know what I'm saying, maybe a little bit more than 30%. Like I said, a little bit more, about 35-40% of the game. Because Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I had plenty of fun. Breath of the Wild's boat wasn't automatic. You had to use a fan to move it. I'm not talking about Breath of the Wild. I never played that. I'm talking about the Wind Waker, the one for the GameCube that got remastered for the Wii U. Wind Waker, I know you was on a boat. Breath of the Wild, I didn't know you was on a boat for that one. But Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Origins, you're on a boat. And those games is kind of fun. And annoying kid yelling in your ear the whole time. That I can understand too. But me, I honestly look forward to playing with the kid because I'm a big fan of Naughty Dog games. And I love playing The Last of Us. I played The Last of Us a lot of times and I beat it a lot of times. And you know what I'm saying, Ellie, she wasn't annoying to me. You know, sparking up conversation and everything. And I think Kratos' son is going to be about the same way, except for when you get into action, he's going to basically be telling you, you know, watch your back and look over here, look over there and stuff like that. And he's going to be making comments. And if you play Heavenly Sword, that won't bother you because Heavenly Sword, if you play, you know what I'm saying, with your headset in, you heard voices all the way around, you know what I'm saying, and it doesn't bother you. It's actually, it puts you more into the game. So, I mean, all of these things a lot of people are complaining about, I'm welcoming it because I'm just a gamer foremost, you know what I'm saying, and everything. I love playing video games. God of War, I'm going to tell you, the reason I like the God of War series is because when I bought the first God of War, I was with my family, right? And you know, of course, some people might not know this, but I'm African American. I was with my family, and you know, on Friday nights we all get together. We play cards, we play spades, and all of that. Everybody's over and having, you know, what I'm saying, having fun. So when it's, you know, I'm waiting to play, you know, spades with them. So I said, okay, I'm gonna pop this in. I popped in God of War and got to playing it. First mission, you know what I'm saying, when you're going against the Hydra. By the time I finished playing that and beat the Hydra, I looked over my shoulders and everybody had stopped playing cards and was looking at the TV, and their eyes was wide open and their mouths was open, like they was like, wow. God of War stopped a black family from playing spades. That's a dope ass game. That's why I've always been a fan of the God of War series. Kratos is gonna die at chapter 1 and you take over as the boy. I don't think so. I don't think Kratos is, first of all, Kratos is immortal in the series. He can't die. You're right, Titanfall Princess, unless a god kills him, and it'll have to take somebody like Odin probably to kill him. 9 times out of 10 they'll probably try to cast him away if anything, because Kratos is he's basically held in human form. That's my interpretation of Kratos. I don't think he's gonna die. I think he's gonna. I haven't been able to. They're gonna play the game yet. I don't think he's gonna die. But what I do think is, I know this is going to lead to more sequels, because I've been reading up on it, and they do want to take it to Egypt. They want to take the series to Egypt, and they talking about taking it to, you know what I'm saying, to the Mayan times and stuff like that. So I don't think those are going to be the next two sequels. I think, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with you, we're looking for the next three God of Wars to be the Norse mythology, and then the three after that will be the Egyptian mythology, or whatever you want to call it. And then, you know what I'm saying, probably one with the Mayans and stuff like that. So I'm saying at least 7 more games of God of War, including the one that's going to release this year. And I do have a strong feeling it's going to release this year. But God of War, yes, it's going to be a really, really good game. I have a feeling of that. But like I said, I think that's going to release in March. You know, I don't know when in March. Maybe the second week of March. We hardly get a game, you know, saying exclusive games during the first week of the month and everything. So I'm thinking the second week of March. It all depends on what's going to be coming out, you know, saying during that month, which I need to do more research on. Spider-Man would be May. April, cause April can fall up for Detroit Become Human or either Days Gone. Either one of those can take April, because I don't think anything major will be releasing during those months, during that month. And that'll be like, that's like a cleanup month. That's like a month that, you know what I'm saying, you can throw something out there that's, you know what I'm saying, and people, gamers are gonna buy it, you know. That's just like the remaster of the Tomb Raider, you know what I'm saying, from the PS3 to the PS4. That came out in a month that it was like basically dry, and it sold because people wanted something to play, and so they played that. You know, so I think that would be a good month. April would be a good month for either one of those two titles. They're day one titles for me. I would rather play. That's hard. I would rather play Days Gone in April, but if Detroit Become Human decides to release in April, then that'd be great too. May, of course, like I said earlier, is gonna be Spider-Man. It's got to be Spider-Man. And yeah, I know, like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2 will be releasing in May, but I do strongly feel that Rockstar will delay that game, and if that does happen, then it's clear sailing for Spider-Man. It's going to sell, especially if it releases the same week as the Avengers, because you're going to have Spider-Man in this, one of the biggest movies of the year, and that's going to be fantastic. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be great. I can't wait to play Spider-Man. I'm hearing reports that it is playable, it's finished. But you know, a game could be finished and they still, you know what I'm saying, play testing it, you know what I'm saying, looking for the bugs and stuff. We got to give them about a month or so, you know what I'm saying, to go through that, and then after that they probably list it as gone gold, and then start preparing for shipments to be sent out. I honestly hope and pray that there's a steel book or collector's edition with the steel book, because this generation I've been getting into buying collector's edition of games and stuff, and I'm telling you, to have a Spider-Man statue go with what I have now, man, I mean, it's just crazy. And God of War, I actually tweeted to Corey Barlog about will there be a special edition, a collector's edition, or steel book, anything with the God of War game, because normally, you know what I'm saying, when they announce a game, these games, were they announced too early? I don't think they were announced. The Spider-Man might have been announced too early, because I think that was announced in 2015, and I can't remember, I need to do my research and stuff, don't quote me on it, But you know, normally when they announce a game, they sit back and let you know if it's going to be a collector's edition or so. If these two games don't have collector's editions, I would feel that Sony really did drop the ball, especially with God of War, because God of War has had collector's editions in the past. Um, it's, you know, saying basically bringing the franchise back into this generation, just like what Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed. It took a year off to get things straight with Assassin's Creed, and when it dropped with like 3 collector's editions. You know what I'm saying? With 2 different statues. It had like an ultimate edition that cost like almost $800. Then it had it just came with so much, and the game, you can't tell me that Assassin's Creed didn't sell well. It sold tremendously well. So think about, you know what I'm saying, if Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4 releases in May with the collector's edition, it's gonna go, it's gonna sell, and it will probably push units, because it wouldn't surprise me if Sony wouldn't come out with a God of War PS4 bundle. It definitely wouldn't surprise me if they came out with a Spider-Man PS4 bundle. Of course, I'm getting DBZF, because you know, if you see my Twitter account, my Twitter name is Random Pockets. I wanted to call it Random Pockets Goku, but I ran out of characters for my name. And yeah, I'm getting DBZ Fighters. I'm gonna pre-order it next week. You know, I normally wait almost until the last minute to pre-order games and stuff, because I get a lot of my games from Best Buy, and I don't like it the way how they take my money from my account and then they put my money back, and then, you know what I'm saying, when it comes out again, it's like they playing with my money, and I don't like people playing with my fucking money. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you can understand that, Titanfall Princess. You don't like people playing with your fucking money. Nobody does. But yeah, I'm getting DBZ Fighters. I'm gonna try to get the collector's edition of that if it's not sold out. But like I was saying, the Sony, if they was to release a PS4 bundle with Spider-Man, of course they're gonna move more units. They probably will sell close to 10 million units by the end of the year if they market God of War and Spider-Man correctly. And Sony has been doing a pretty fucking great job this generation by marketing their titles, by marketing their consoles and their accessories. And I say accessories because of the PlayStation VR. It's not a console, it is an accessory. And I'll be talking about that in a later video down the road, because I am a member of the PlayStation VR family now, and I have to say it's 2 thumbs up. But anyway, and for June release, like I said, April and June can go to Days Gone or either Detroit Become Human. It can go to any one of those, because those games, even though there are big titles, they're new, completely new IPs, and you will want them in a space of their own, so they won't get slaughtered by anything that's really big. And most of the time during April and June, nothing really big releases. It's safe to say, so far, and don't take me as an Xbox hater, but it's safe to say that Microsoft doesn't have anything along the pipeline in the beginning of this year. From looking at how Microsoft released their games, Sony don't have anything to worry about in the the beginning of the year, as far as from January to August, because Microsoft don't normally release games no earlier than August. And so Days Gone and Detroit Become Human can take April or June. Spider-Man has got to be locked in for May, and God of War's got to be locked in for March, and of course we know Shadow of Colossus remaster is coming out next month. Dragon Ball Z Fighters, we're Dragon Ball Fighters, or however they want to call it. I'm gonna call it Dragon Ball Z Fighters, just like you did Titanfall Princess. And shout out to you for sticking with me this long. I'm getting ready to cut this kind of short because I haven't even played anything. And let me go ahead and try to play something real quick. But yeah, I honestly think that it's just gonna be a great beginning of the year for gamers. You know, I'm not gonna sit back and alienate anybody because a lot of people actually own all systems. I've actually had the Xbox One S not too long ago, but to me, it's not a system for me. So we gotta support each other. That's right. We do gotta support each other on YouTube, regardless of how big or small you are of a YouTuber. I'm like the crack on the floor YouTuber. You know, I barely make videos, but I appreciate your support. And you know, I'm always checking out your videos as soon as I can when I get a chance to, because you be daggone tearing ass in them fighting games. And I want to see you on Dragon Ball Z Fighters one day too, because I think that's going to be one of the fighters that I really get into, you know what I'm saying, because I'm a fan of the series, you know. Yeah, I got you. I support you, you know what I'm saying. I spread your videos whenever I can. What car I'm going to drive? I'm going to drive this one right here. Nope, don't want to drive that. So, you know, but I'm gonna play this for a little bit, you know what I'm saying, get some gameplay video on up. Detroit Become Human, very, very interesting looking game. I've always loved the Quantic Dream games. I sure will, you know what I'm saying, once I get my job stuff straight, you know what I'm saying, as far as like just settling down on one site instead of bouncing around from 2 different sites, and getting my, you know what I'm saying, my shift stable, then I will hit you up so I can be on the podcast one day, you know. And I'm gonna start back podcast hopping this year, you know what I'm saying, because last year I actually joined a lot of podcasts. You know, I was on the Throwdown, I was on the Post Game Report, of course, you know, my home podcast is The Platform. I was on the Gamers Couch in the beginning of the year. And I also joined Jabari on one of his podcasts that he was testing out. What up, Jay Just Games? You coming in right at the tail end of the video of my podcast. This is the Listen Up podcast. If anybody else has the title to this podcast, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make no money. I just think the titles and I, you know what I'm saying, go with it right then and there. So this is the Listen Up podcast. Of course, it has like a kind of a hip-hop feel to it, so I might be talking about music at the same time, as well as games, you know, so it's always going to be about games. It's like I'm playing games and I hit the corner too hard. But, yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of Quantic Dream ever since Heavy Rain. Didn't know nothing about them before that. I know they did Indigo Prophecy, if I'm correct, and I never played that game, so I'm not going to sit back and try to bandwagon and jump and say, oh, that's one of the best games or whatever. But I am a fan of Heavy Rain. I actually have Heavy Rain right now for the PS4, but that game to me is unplayable because the frame rate is so fucking choppy. It's crazy. And I need to finish playing Beyond Two Souls. I actually beat Heavy Rain on the PS3. You know what I'm saying? And I know who the killer is and everything already. But Detroit Become Human, when that comes out, I'm definitely going to be on that day one. Ever since I seen the car video, I seen how, you know what I'm saying, the game, you know what I'm saying, I seen what they wanted the game to look like, and that was fucking crazy. And they're close. I think they did hit the mark on what they wanted the game to look like, because that game does look, you know what I'm saying, I can't even call them people. The androids in that game do look real. You know, I'm hoping they can keep the 60 frames per second pace on that game. If it drops down to 30, let's just hope it's fun. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what can make or break a game. If it's fun. A lot of people don't care what the frames are as long as the game is fun. I think PUBG is 30 frames on the Xbox One S, and people are having fun with it. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to comment too much on that, because I don't want a lot of people getting their panties in a bunch. But to me, 30 frames, you know what I'm saying, as long as the game is fun, I will play it. I prefer 60 because 60 gives it a more realistic look in the movements and stuff. But 30, you know what I'm saying, as long as the game is fun. And that's what a lot of gamers lose sight of when they, you know what I'm saying, get to debating all of these games. The only question you need to be asking is, are you having fun? Period. And Detroit Become Human, to me, there's different levels of fun. I love mystery games. I love solving puzzles and crimes and stuff. That's what I loved about Heavy Rain. You know what I'm saying? You had to, you know what I'm saying, basically be a detective and look for a killer and look for clues and everything. And I mean, that's not the first game you ever done that on. You know what I'm saying? Resident Evil for the PlayStation 1, you had to look for clues, you had to find items to, you know, so you could progress through the game. And, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Resident Evil got me into the fact that when I play third-person games, I'm always searching for treasures or clues or something. You know what I'm saying? Like with, I came in second place because I'm talking. Just like with Uncharted, you know what I'm saying? I know not to leave a certain area in Uncharted until, you know, I find, you know what I'm saying, everything I can find out about that area. You know, if it's got a treasure, if it's got a clue or something, I'm not leaving that area. So, you know what I'm saying, therefore, any game I play like that, Assassin's Creed, Tomb Raider, whatever, Resident Evil, I'm looking for, you know what I'm saying, treasure or clues or something throughout the whole entire game. So, you know, a game like Detroit is going to be right up my alley. I'm going to be playing that for a long time. Days Gone, to me, that looks very interesting because, I mean, I play zombie games. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are good, some of them aren't too good. I don't like the Dead Rising series. I don't like it at all. I tried to get into Dead Rising multiple times on the Xbox 360 and on the PS3 and the PS4, and I just feel that those are horrible games. I can't believe I just gonna play the same daggone race again. Anyway, and I say horrible because of the fact that the way the game is presented to you, you know what I'm saying, the way it is. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I played Dead Rising 1, and that time limit shit, that's what gets me. I hate being under pressure because I have a time limit to do something. You know, because I'm an explorer. Only Dead Rising game we like is Dead Rising 2, K0. Yeah, I tried to get into Dead Rising 2, and I didn't even beat Part 1. I just picked up Part 2 for the PS3, and I couldn't get into that. You know, I couldn't get into it. So it's just, and don't get me wrong, those games look good for that generation. You know what I'm saying? With all those zombies on the screen and everything. It's just that the time limit. I hate when I'm playing Grand Theft Auto and I have to be, you know what I'm saying, across the map at a certain time, or I have to race against time. That pressure right there, I hate that shit. I hate it when they put it in games because my adrenaline automatically shoots up and I'm like, oh my God, I can hurry up and do this. And there's, you know what I'm saying, to me, in my mind, excuse me, there's no room for error, you know, because I hate, you know what I'm saying, having to start over and do it again and not start completely over, just at the, you know what I'm saying, beginning of, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that, you know, that starts up the time, you know what I'm saying, for it. And will it make or break a game for me? It depends on if the game is based on that. And Dead Rising is based on time. So that breaks the game. It doesn't make it fun, and I can't complete it, you know what I'm saying? Um, but Days Gone, hopefully that won't have that type of mechanic in it, and we should be getting ready to hear a lot more about that. The only reason I think we're not hearing that a lot of reports on Spider-Man being finished right now and anything on Days Gone in Detroit is because God of War will be releasing in March. The cover for the next Game Informer will have God of War on it. And it's going to be a big spread in the middle of the magazine. They're going to be talking about it. And I'm a collector of Game Informer magazines because I like to take the magazine and the actual game and put them together. I did that for Metal Gear. I did that for Final Fantasy. I did that for a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? It's just the collector in me on certain things, you know. But God of War is the reason why we're not hearing that much on these other big titles. And that's why I just have a feeling this coming out in March. And I hope it's the second week of March because, you know what I'm saying, that gives me time to prepare for it, you know what I'm saying, especially if it's got a collector's edition. But Days Gone looks very interesting. The zombies are not the Walking Dead zombies. These zombies are the Dawn of the Dead zombies, whereas they will chase you down, which is going to be interesting. What's that? Tony Polanco, just like my tweet. But yeah, car, handicap, what the fuck? I just got a lot of experience and money for something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this stream, you know what I'm saying? I thank you, Titanfall Princess, for checking out the Listen Up podcast. Whenever you run another podcast, give me a shout out, you know what I'm saying? But once I get everything straight, I'm gonna start back doing my my podcast hopping and stuff, and then, you know, you will catch me on the platform. I kind of miss those guys, even though some of them are just crazy as hell. You know, Black Dragon crazy as hell, which is Eugene. But, you know what I'm saying, those are guys that I've been playing games with for a very long time. And I've actually grown to know them and respect them. And you got to respect other gamers, period. You know what I'm saying, regardless of how good they are. You know, because simple fact, everybody plays games differently, you know what I'm saying? You got some people out there that are a beast in playing games. My homeboy, I can't remember his PSN name, but his last name is Jupiter, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pronounce his first name because he might not want the information out there, but he is a beast in Tekken. I hadn't played him in Street Fighter, but I heard he's a beast in that as well. And I also know that he's a beast in Injustice 2, because we've all played those games besides Street Fighter. And my first time seeing him play, I didn't even run into him because I didn't, when I played Injustice 2 with the online arcade with Jabari and the council, I got to spectate, you know what I'm saying, watching other gamers play. And I think Frozen Magma won the first tournament. But that was something, that was a great tournament, I have to say that. So shout out to the council members for putting that together. Shout out to Jabari, Mr. Official, and Persona. Those three guys are just cool as hell, you know what I'm saying? They're gamers, you know. I think I was supposed to fight you, Titanfall Princess, but something was going on with your connection or something that day, and I ended up getting, you know what I'm saying, put into the winner's bracket and didn't even fight, I guess, number one time. But yeah, you know, my homeboy Jupiter is nice and nice in fighting games, you know. My homeboy Eugene, he's nice in fighting games. He's, you know what I'm saying, and I like playing fighters, you know what I'm saying, I love it. But once I've had my fill of it, and this is with any kind of competitive game, once I have my fill of the game and I've done everything I want to do, I don't keep them too long, you know. I only keep adventure games and stuff like that long because, you know, like The Witcher 3. I still haven't completed everything in that game. There's so much things to do, and I still need to finish the second DLC, Blood and Wine. I haven't even started it, to be honest with you. What else? Metal Gear Solid 5, you know. That's an open world game that has a lot of stuff to do, even though a lot of the stuff is repeat. I still have it though. I have the digital version and I have the physical version because I took and got the collector's edition of that with the prosthetic arm, which is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I put the middle finger up on it and people walk in and they see that and they're like, oh shit, really? But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this podcast short, 45 minutes, you know what I'm saying, with very little gameplay, just 2 races, and I apologize for that. But I got to talking with, you know what I'm saying, a few of the people that's in the comments, and I appreciate all of that. I appreciate it a lot, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, it didn't take long for anybody to jump on, and that was pretty dope. There will be more Listen Up podcasts in the future, so just, you know what I'm saying, be on the lookout for that. I might, you know what I'm saying, record the video doing the podcast where, you know what I'm saying, nobody can comment, and then again I might go live on air like I did today. It depends on my mood for that day. So again, shout out to Titanfall Princess, shout out to Mr. Official VG, shout out to Jabari, shout out to Persona, shout out to the platform, shout out to Hard Night Gamers, shout out to King Dre, shout out to Porter Rock 77, shout out to JVB, shout out to the Post Game Report, shout out to DJ DLB, shout out to Hood Nerd. These are the people that I actually interact with on Twitter. These are the people who that kind of, I can't say they know me, but they know my name. Shout out to Jack Move Johnny. Jack Move Johnny is the only guy that when I go on his streams, he would say, "What up, Gooch?" And then he said, "Oh no, that's my man Eddie," because Jack Move is that type of person. Jack Move is that fucking cool. So shout out to Jack Move Johnny. Shout out to fucking Kid Smooth. Because everybody thinks Kid Smooth's an asshole to be saying stupid shit and everything. Nobody's perfect, but Kid Smooth is fucking cool as hell, you know what I'm saying? He's cool. He's a cool dude. I follow him on Twitter. I follow him on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kid Smooth, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, he got more on his mind than just gaming, you know what I'm saying? Gaming is a release like it is for all of us, you know. But, you know, that's, you know what I'm saying, like I said, shout out to the platform again, because those are my homeboys. Those are my peoples. Because I kind of stopped saying homeboys because I keep on, I'm not forgetting Cool Cat Terry. You know what I'm saying? It's just she's the only female in the group, you know, and Cool Cat Terry, if you check her out on Twitch, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to her, follow her. She puts up a lot of content, more than anything anybody that I know, and she's pretty cool. She she has cringe karaoke sometimes. I think she's still doing that, and it's pretty funny. You might can get her to sing the original theme song to the Power Rangers, if you're lucky. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, and thank you very much, and I'll see you guys again later. Peace.